panel discussion for today's conclave would be on skilling and jobs, where the focus would be on discussing role of universities and HEI in skilling, incubation cells in education institutions, innovation ecosystem, collaborations in skilling and research. And for this, I would like to call upon our speakers onto the dais. Professor Abhirama Krishna, Director General, Badruka Group of Institutions. Can I hear some applause, please? Further, I would like to call upon Dr. K. Sri Harsha Reddy, Director and Professor, Institute of Management Technology, Hyderabad. Further, would like to call upon Professor Subhashri Natarajan, Dean School of Business, RV University. Can I take the pleasure to call Professor Sarbesh Mishra, Dean School of Executive Education, Placements and Industry Relations, NICMAR. Also would like to call upon Shri Karun Dubey, Head Business Intercell, Career Mentoring. And finally, I would like to call upon the moderator for the session, Shri Shrikant Sinha, CEO, Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
A very good afternoon. Welcome back after the tea session to this panel discussion. And for this panel discussion, as the speakers were introduced, I've got a very diverse panel over here. We have people from the industry, we have people from universities, we have people from colleges, and of course, I am the bridge between all. I am from the skilling ecosystem. And that's how the whole thing is planned. The experts over here, I would be asking them questions and I request them to keep every answer limited to 3 to 4 minutes. And of course, the question I ask someone, in case anyone else would also like to talk about it when their turn comes, please feel free to do that. 3 minutes is the limit. I think without any further ado, since 45 minutes have been allocated to us, I would start by asking the first question itself, which is on skilling in higher education institutions. Whenever we talk about universities, colleges, etc., we used to talk about education. Of course, education today is a much misused word. And why I say that is because when I was in college, I still remember our professor used to come. He has to have a slip like what I'm holding in my hand, and take that, turn around towards the board, which was a green-colored blackboard as we used to call it, and start writing on it. And unfortunately, the thing that started from Socrates' time had not changed until recently, when actually the pandemic hit. And that is where education has started changing today. And a lot of new things have happened. Changes in education has got accelerated in a different way. People are talking about authentic assessment, people are talking about hands-on experiential learning, and a lot of new terminology has been got into education now. And that's where I think our session today is very important to get a perspective that how are higher education institutions actually moving towards skilling? Because industry always say that 85% of the people being produced today by education institutions across Southeast Asia are not employable. So universities have started playing a role, higher education institutions have started playing a role. So let me start with Professor Sri Harsha Reddy itself. And probably because he's closest to me, so I'll ask him the first thing. How is skilling being viewed in an institution like IMT and other similar business school and technology schools?
Thank you, Shrikant Sinha ji. Good afternoon to all the audience here. At IMT Hyderabad, which is one of the top B schools in India, one of the 2 B schools from Hyderabad ranked in NARF, we have a 40 years of legacy where the educational philosophy is to empower the students to acquire knowledge, skills, and abilities. So, learning by knowing, learning by doing, and learning by being. This is the basic principle on which the entire 40 years legacy was built on. So how is that this can be emulated or practiced by other higher education institutions? Now, as Sinhaji mentioned, that employability is a challenge. Whenever we talk to corporates, they say there is huge demand for quality talent. Whenever we talk to academic institutions, they say our students are not getting jobs or our students are not getting placed even after 1 year of completion of the program. So let me take this opportunity to share the story of IMT Hyderabad, where consciously we designed our program using KSA framework: knowledge, skills, abilities, and we have added experience to this. So the moment student enters the program, a 2-week induction program is conducted to give them the broad perspective of 2 years journey, where the sessions will not be delivered only by academicians, but also the industry practitioners from all walks of life. For a well-rounded, comprehensive learning, we need not confine ourselves to only the domain of the program which we are offering, be it management, engineering, hospitality management, architecture, and so on. We need to give inputs in diverse areas, right from induction to the absorption to the corporates. So all the while, if the focus is on, not just on skills, I mean, they need to have basic domain expertise, whichever higher education program they are pursuing, appended with skills. Skills can be imparted or demonstrated not just by academicians, not just by professors. It has to be curated by professors as well as the industry. That's where the industry academia interaction comes into the play. And finally, if we are preparing students for jobs, I mean, jobs keeps changing. Currently, if you see, the change is so rapid, what is happening yesterday can become redundant today. So in that context, we need to prepare students for careers, not just jobs. So a couple of examples I would like to share. One happening at IMT Hyderabad, and two with an association which I am associated, Hyderabad Management Association. We partnered with companies like Advance Auto Parts, which is an NYSE listed company. We partnered with Wipro. We partnered with HCL Tech at program level. Of course, we have partnership with 100 plus corporates at component level, be it industry mentor-mentee program or internships or placements. But with these three companies, right from admission stage to absorption stage, we are trying to involve the corporates in the entire student life cycle, which is very difficult to practice. But if the universities can adapt this, that will be the game changer and huge value proposition to the student. Second, which we are doing with Hyderabad Management Association, it's called Industry Readiness Program, where a simple 42-hour module was designed, and this is offered to BBA final year and MBA final year students to equip them with basic soft skills. It's divided into 3 modules: basic soft skills, second one, employment readiness skills, and third one, exposure in emerging areas like digital transformation or sustainability across sectors. And this is offered at only rupees 500 for, I think this is the 4th batch which is going on now. And it is blended online and face-to-face. And we roped in a corporate entity called Bambino, and they were subsidizing this program. If an association can do this, I think institutions can adapt to this kind of strategy where investment is very little, but impact is huge. So I'll just park here, Sinhaji. Thanks for the opportunity given.
Thank you. So moving on to you, Professor Abhiramakrishna, you have a long-standing career into skilling, and institutions like Badruka getting you on board, of course, is a message in itself as to the importance that they give to such institutions. Now, I wanted to understand from you as to what kind of a role do you see for skilling? What are the initiatives that you have taken? And what could be the roadmap ahead for it?
Good afternoon, and at the outset, I would like to thank IndiGlobal for giving me an opportunity to share this platform along with fellow educators. Thank you, Sinaji, for that wonderful question. I come from the industry with over 35 years of corporate experience, and I have noticed there exists a huge gap between what the industry are looking at and what the education sector has to offer. So when I joined the Badruka group of institutions, the first skilling is to bridge what the industry requires and how do we. We actually start with a disadvantage because we are affiliated to Osmania University. Unlike some of the open university, autonomous institutes, the PGDM program where they have the liberty to chalk out their own program, we are actually to follow strictly the curriculum laid out by the university. And as some of the educators here know, most of the universities are examination oriented. So the first thing we did is to interact with the industry, find out what are the kind of skills they are looking at. We identified what the syllabus has to offer and identified the gap. And we had a strategy for each of those things on how do we bridge the gap. So for want of time, I'll just quote two examples. I was interacting with the chartered accountant firms in India, and casually they told me one of the challenge is to get internship. So I told them that how many interns you would require. So he said, I would like to have 5 BCom graduates. So I said, fine. Does this problem exist with other chartered accountancy firm? He said, yes, there are more than 50 accounting firms which have similar problem. So I said, okay, we will give you an idea. So 10 of your friends, please come. We will have an interaction. So 12 firms turned up. And we told them what are the kind of skills you require for an intern. And they identified a couple of skills. We designed a program consisting of 200 hours. And out of that, we realized more than 140 hours our faculty can conduct. And we asked these chartered accountancy firms to come as practitioners and deliver those inputs. So together, we invited 200 students to participate in this experiment. And I'm happy to say that people who have scored more than 60 all got certificate jointly by the chartered accountancy firm and the Badruka group. And people who have scored more than the top 50, each of the chartered accountancy firm took this 5 each. And all of them paid 50% of the fees to the institute as well as intern scholarship to these students. So I find more and more, like this we have a lot of corporate MOU participating with us. So the key thing is to skilling more than the students, first start with the faculty. The faculty also need to know because most of the faculty are confined to the academic world. So they need to get exposed to more and more interact with what the corporate are looking at and actually participate with the practitioners in designing the program, in learning. So now the first 3 batches, this was the model. But today I'm happy to say the faculty are now able to handle 80% of the program and only 20% is for the practitioners. So we have tried this with a lot of finance firms and so on. And now more than 80 MOUs, not on paper, but to suit what exactly the corporate requires. I'm happy to say 3 months before the term is ending for the final year commerce degree as well as the MBA students, 80% of those who are opting for placement have already got placement. And year on year, the salary mean is also increasing tremendously.
Wonderful.
I would like to call upon Shri Kartikeya A, OSD to Minister of Finance and Skill, Government of Andhra Pradesh, to please join for the panel discussion. Thank you.
Kartik Agarus, apologies for that, but please have a seat. And so, since we are talking about skilling and we have spoken about these two models where this is happening, want to understand from you, as far as the Andhra Pradesh government is concerned, or the department is concerned, how exactly are you looking at skilling? Are you looking at skilling in the for placements, and since the skilling and jobs, in the final year, or do you start earlier? And what are the success stories that you have from the state, please?
Thank you, Mr. Sinhaji. A very, very relevant question, and the topic at this time what we are discussing. See, as you know that NEP 2020 talks about new education policy, about a skill is a part, even vocational training and everywhere. So even in fact, when you see education is with skill, but we separated actually. Skill development has become a different entity, and education, universities, colleges are a different entity. It is not that. As Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said once, skill development is a lifelong process. It is not that once you complete your graduation or post-graduation, you focus on skilling. Skill is inbuilt. You need to upskill every time. The way we motivate, the way we go for bathing every day, the way you do natural, whatever you do in a daily basis, the same way, skill you need to do, upgrade, upskill every day. Then only you can survive in this world, 21st century, and you can compete with others. As it comes to AP, we are integrating skill in schooling from 8th standard onwards. In fact, in our earlier discussion also, we discussed on emerging technology, getting into that. So there also we're imparting skill development schooling 8th standard onwards. And also one major point I think I want to share with you all on the panel. Most of the states have visited on skill development. Everyone does skilling. Government does skill development programs, universities does, colleges does, and foundations. But where are these people are going now? Even now also we talk about unemployment, lack of skill. You see any graduate, I think most of the students are here. The moment they complete, are they getting employment opportunities? So my vision, we all should work on it. As far as a student completes his college, if he really wants a job, he should get campus to the place, campus to the company. Not that he will, after completion of graduation or post-graduation, he'll come back and he'll start searching for opportunities. No. The moment he completes his graduation or post-graduation, he should get unemployed. And one more thing, why we are looking into employment opportunities? When are we going to change? Start looking into entrepreneurship model. If you start becoming an entrepreneur, you can create employment opportunities, correct? How many people we can create employment opportunities now at this point of time? 150 crore people. Can we create employment opportunities for everyone? And the emerging technologies, AI, ChatGPT and all are there now, blockchain and all this. Can we create employment opportunities? We can create entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs can create employment opportunities. So maybe 2050, our vision should be like, create entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs create a number of opportunities. So AP also, we have to understand this, our honorable dynamic and leadership of honorable CM, we brought all the skill development under one roof. That is called skill cascading system. What we are doing is, we have 175 members of legislative assemblies are there. Each legislative assembly, we have one skill hub, which talks about 10th standard to ITIs and vocational, NSQ of level 1 to 4. So they'll be trained And whoever wants to be an entrepreneur there, so we are giving the funding for them. We found startups and people who mentor these people, and whoever wants to become an employee, and we're trying to get industry. It is not that the government is doing it, government is partnered with industry. One such example I want to quote here, we have, you all know that Kia cars. We have a plant, Kia, Hindupuram Kia plant. So what we have done is, under my minister, Constancy, we identified Kia is a partner to that ITA college. We are not calling government ITA college now. We are calling Kia ITA college is run by completely by Kia industry, though they have given a complete infrastructure there, and they are giving manpower, and it's not that whether they take them in their company or not, but they are modernized entire ITI. So same way, now we are working on all 84 ITIs, which industries, like we found Michelin. Now Michelin is going to work with one ITI college. So same way, 84 ITIs and 87 diploma colleges, polytechnic colleges, we are identifying industry as specific for that. So this is one thing, and universities, higher education, we have universities. Universities also, we are aligned with skill development only. So part of, no, as you said, third year, fourth year, no, we are started from 8th standard only. The skill is given, life skills. It is not that life skill can be taught at the final year or third year. It should be taught from the day one. Then only we can get, we should know the life skills. We all know that Mahabharata, Ramayana, everything, it is there in that. And we are now coined as a new word called life skills, but it is there in more with the values. So life skills is a part of a thing, and we are encouraging our faculties, capacity building programs for them, newest technologies, and even capacity building on pedagogy and all this. Skill, we are not looking into a separate entity. It is a part of education itself. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for helping us understand the entire ecosystem. And yes, of course, I think catch them young is the philosophy, and that's the way things should be. In fact, since I'm part of the AVGC task force at a national level, one of the things that we have recommended over there is that from 6th itself, there should be an examination, a test should be done to identify people who have got the flair for creativity. I'm not saying they'll become animators in the 7th class or no, but they will be choosing a direction, they will be given inputs in that direction itself. So yes, catch them young is a philosophy, and of course NEP talks about it. Professor Subhashree Natarajan, when we talk about skilling, yes, of course, that is important, but TechWhip also gave funds to a lot of institutions, and colleges set up incubation centers, etc. And that's where I want to find out from you, every institution wants to have an incubator, while there are incubators in the state, etc. So what is the reason behind it, and how is it benefiting the students? Also, does RV University have an incubation center?
Yes, we do have. I would like to be very clear. RV Group is about 82 years old, but RV University is a very, very young university and a very progressing university. We create a space for the students to innovate. We have an entrepreneurship cell. We give them seed money. But more than that, we embed entrepreneurship within the curriculum. As you rightly said, catch them young. When they enter in, they need to know whether they have this entrepreneurial efficacy. Are they fit to be an entrepreneur? Need to be realized by a student. Let us assume that there is a CSE student who wants to run a business tomorrow. If he doesn't know anything about finance, if he doesn't know anything about marketing, what will he do? So we give him a space to work with another course student in business. So when they collaborate at the student level, at the faculty level, number one, they understand what is their idea all about, what is their strength, how they can take it forward. This is the first platform where there is a self-realization or a conviction happens. Second thing, let us assume that he is convinced about running a business. His idea is an extremely good idea. There should be a place for him to prototype. There should be a place for him to do a hackathon or a makeathon and sell it to the industry person. When he does that, he enters into a real-time problem solving. He encounters the industrialist, understands what the problem is, creates a solution, finds out where he has gone wrong, which strategy works, which doesn't work. So, full experience for him, a complete end-to-end experience for him. We don't create only commercial entrepreneurs. We also have social entrepreneurs who are in need today. There is a slot given in their curriculum. For about 2 months, they should compulsorily work with an NGO or with any social project. Find out what is a real-time problem that is there in the society, come out with a solution. So supporting them with the space, with the money is the normal thing that happens. But going beyond that, to make the students understand what is their strength, what is their product, what is their idea, and nurturing them from there on happens. At one stage, let's say that the product or a solution is an extremely good solution, he's able to commercialize it, we help them in by patenting it, commercializing it. In addition to it, we also help them to network with MSME and to work with CXOs shoulder to shoulder so that they can take the product further.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I absolutely agree with you. I think it's important. And in fact, we at Task run a program called as I4TS, Innovating for Telangana, which runs with a punchline, Samajika Avishkarnalu Sardamaina Jivitanki, which is social innovation for simplifying lives. And over there, we don't dive directly into entrepreneurship development. And this program has got social focus also, and rural innovations. So that's what this program is. And about 20,584 students are benefiting from this virtual program that we run every week. Now, Professor Sarbesh Mishra, you are coming from a different background, right? It is construction. Of course, I spoke about civil engineering in the morning and the need for it and need for the core engineering subjects. But let me try to understand, what kind of incubation center do you have and what's your incubation policy?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sinha, and thanks to the organizers for calling us on this particular platform. Probably I am from a very different kind of background. We are from the construction management, project management, quantity surveying, health, safety, environment management, valuation. These are our areas of expertise. And this particular building in which we are sitting right now, the project manager was my student, okay, passed out in 2006. Any good structure that you see in India, okay, most of them have been executed by our students, including the parliament project which was executed. Now the temple projects which is coming up in Ayodhya also is our student. The Cyber Pearl, Cyber Gateway, T-Hub, then Raheja Mindspace, any structure, any signature structure you believe that has been there, it is all because of our alumni. We have been there in this particular space for last 42 years. Last year, we have been accorded with the status of the university. We have been continuing this particular program in the postgraduate level only. We don't have any undergraduate program or anything. So we were having the PGD in ACM, PGD in the project management. Now, since we have become a university, probably we'll be trying out the new courses, new programs. If you look at the inception of the NICMAR, then you will see that NICMAR is an outcome of incubation. Because if you look at the board of trustees, the chairman board of trustees, they are all the industrialists. So our chairman board of trustees is Sri Ajit Gulabchand, who happens to be the CMD of Hindustan Construction Company Limited. If you look at the fabric of our board of trustees, you will find the L&T is there in the board, Afcons, Sapurji Palonji, SR people. These are the people who sat together in the year of 1981 and they thought that we should have some kind of educational institution beyond BTech and MTech, because BTech and MTech will be sufficing to a particular research kind of requirement, whereas we should be requiring the people who can manage from end to end. So the concept of turnkey management, turnkey, what we say, we can say that NICMAR started long back, and we have been an institute which has been conceived and floated by the industry himself. And we have already into that particular learning curve of 40 plus years. And when we talk about the incubations, then we have the partnership with who's who of the construction domain. Okay. And let me tell you that probably sir was telling in the morning that there is no program. We are probably the only institute or only university who is having a MBA in sustainable energy management. But it is not only I can say that only a particular kind of energy. We are having both conventional and non-conventional into that particular curriculum. We have been training to the lecturers of all the civil engineering. Most of the states are taking the help from us. Very recently, we received the letter of intent from the government of Andhra Pradesh. Our training calendar is full right now. So we'll be doing for them. We have done it for the government of Telangana. We will be doing it we have done it for the government of Odisha. We have been upskilling the lecturers because that is where I believe the first part starts. And our institute or our university, because again, I am there in my university for last 17 years, which has been transformed to the university. So in our case, we have got all kind of specific lab. So whatever AR, VRs are there, we have the lab for the AR, VR. We have the drones with us. So drones will be flying off. For G+52 building is coming up. That is Basavi Atlantis project, where my student is the project manager. So people don't have to go in the upstairs or the lift and they have to find out what is the work done. We are sending the drones to that, and that particular capturing the images, it is coming back, and we are collating all kind of quantities taking off, what kind of progress that has been made. And we have partnered with the Greenco, that is one of the very non-conventional energy major. We have partnered with the Renew, another very non-conventional energy major. I believe everyone knows them. We have partnered with the Wellspun also. Okay, and those are the people who have been, time to time, they have been taking the help and assistance from us how to upskill and upgrade their existing manpower, because the disruption in the field of construction and project management is very severe, especially post-pandemic. And so if you look at the housing sales statistics, corporate office statistics, I believe in the post-corona, there has been an immense demand. And housing sales have breached all the records in the cities like Hyderabad, number one probably I will say, then probably Bangalore, then Mumbai. And when the housing sales are so much, that again reinforces the faith that everyone wants a house to stay. Everyone will be coming back to the office, that's for sure. Whatever virtual or physical office may be there, either you require a office space or you require a housing space. So in both the cases, our people are there. And we have been receiving the avalanche of requests to partner with the different companies and to help them, assist them. And as far as the placements are concerned, it has never been an issue with us, because we are probably only one such institution who is into the deeply specialized into the construction management and project management. And we have breached all-time records whenever the placements are concerned. We have in fact said no to many companies that we don't have the students available, right, because our students are always, as far as the skill is concerned, our students always fills that particular gap. And people have realized again and again that our students are better than that of the engineering graduates or master's graduate, because our curriculum is embedded with all kind of IT infrastructure, all kind of physical infrastructure. And we operate in the Shamirpet here with the 52 acres of land, around 6 lakh square feet of area. And we are currently having only PG programs, okay, where only 300 intakes around we take. And we are also having our big campus in the Pune, okay, that is our mother campus, we can say. Our Director General, Professor Anil Kashyap, who is from the University of West England, he has assumed the charges last year, and he has been taking a lot of new initiatives where we are getting to know all the things that is happening around the globe, so that those immersive kind of experience can be given to our students from the campus itself.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Thanks. So let's move on to the only representative from the industry. And I think there are two things that always our students keep on asking. What does the industry want from me? And what should I skill for? Right? That's one part of it. Second part of it, if I look at my colleges today, 50 to 60% of the students that are in our colleges today, their parents have never been to a college. And that's where career choices, mentoring, etc. becomes a big importance. So help us understand the answers to the question, and what does InterDiscel do as far as mentoring is concerned?
Thank you, Sinaji, and thank you all for the opportunity to speak in front of the bright minds from the education industry. So let me just put across what is missing, or maybe the debate what we have started is skilling and upskilling and what the industry wants. So let's be very clear that the industry is changing in a very rapid manner. So 3 years, 4 years back before the COVID, AI was not there. Right now, everybody is talking about the AI. Everybody is talking about the chat GPT, 3 and 4 version. So what we need to, understand is that we need people in the industry who is ingrained in such a manner they can adapt to a constant change. And that constant change is coming, in a very short span of time. The strategies in the corporate has changed in the last 3-4 years, and what we are upskilling or telling the student to be skilled at a university level or at a schooling level, as Karthikeyan mentioned, that in standard onwards, the government is trying to identify the skills. But after identification, are we putting efforts towards upskilling them also? Because upskilling is a constant phenomena for the growth of the country, for the nation, right? So the industry is something that is very much, is working towards and joining hands with all the educational institutes. And with Intercell also, we have mentors from the industry. We are doing career mentoring for the student. So we are trying to make a balance wherein the educational institutes are doing the best of the things to, identify the skill of the student and training on them, right? But there has to be a constant, measures from the educational institutes in order to tie up with the corporate to understand that how the shift's going to happen. For example, the chat GPT, the student who will be passing, this year or next year, he should be trained well how to use the tools to work on a chat GPT model, to implement into an industry. Not only to use them, to implement also. As sir also rightly mentioned that he's been using drones, or his team of students is using drones to take the imagery. So it's like a technology that has been stitched together in terms of using it in the right form or in a correct manner. So this is something that we have to think. And this is where the mentors are helping the student to make them understand that, look, this is an industry shift and we have to be prepared very well for the upcoming things and innovate and apply the skills there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So what you said is absolutely right. In fact, I think AICT itself has come up with the major and minor subjects where they are saying from semiconductors to biomolecules should be taken as electives by people who are doing courses. So innovation is the name of the game right now. So Professor Abhirama, I'd like to understand from you, what is the importance of innovation and what kind of an innovation ecosystem do you have at your institute?
That is a very interesting question. Before I just answer this, I would like to also acknowledge TASK as a partner for skilling. So we have tied up with your TASK organization, and I think they are doing a phenomenal work. And I see some of our students and faculty in the participants here. So I'm sure even this seminar will be very, very useful to all of you. Coming to innovation, we feel like I'm very much impressed with Karthika. He said start at 8th class. But I believe the creativity and innovation happens at LKG, UKG. And by the time the students come to 1, the creativity is killed. I believe that all students are born intelligent till they reach school. And once they reach the school, they are regimented, they have to follow a particular thing, and most of the innovation is killed. And at the college level, we feel that creativity is almost dead, except for a couple of students. So what we have done is to make them relearn some of the good things like creativity, because creativity is one of the prerequisites of innovation. So we set up the entrepreneurship cell, and we have given them a lot of inputs, and we got a lot of encouragement from a T-Hub, COVE, Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs, and CII. They have their own hub for encouraging women entrepreneurs, as well as a leap. So a number of such organizations are partnering with us, and we set up the Innovation Hub. And a couple of government support, as well as companies like Adventure and everybody participated in funding some of these interesting ideas. And we incubated 2 successful ventures. One of them wanted seed capital, second round of funding within 5 months. But when we wanted to give her the money, she said, no, I don't require. I've already broken even and I'm now making profit. So, and she started this in what you call during the COVID, 2 students. And there is another person who did a very creative work in the mineral water bottling design. And we are very happy that Telangana government has personally encouraged us. Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, secretary, had come to our college to inaugurate the Innovation Hub, met these students, inspired them, and that I think was a very great effort. So we are not happy with producing a couple of them. Also, we feel that most of the Indians are risk averse because most of the parents are told chase after bread, butter can come later. But failure is what I say till one of the speakers in the morning said, you fail only when you give up. So failures are stepping stone to success. So just to summarize, there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen if creativity and innovation has to thrive. And in our small effort through the Innovation Hub at Badruka, we are trying to reinvent that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. I think the kind of ecosystem that we have over here with T-Hub, V-Hub, TSIC, Rich, T-Works, and of course Task, it's a phenomenal ecosystem that the government has. And thanks to the 2 tall leaders, Honorable Minister of IT and Industries, KTR Ramarao Garu, and under guidance of Sri Jayesh Ranjan, we have been able to do all these things. So, Dr. Sriharsha, let me also understand, IMT, of course, has been into the space for long. So what is the next wave of innovation that you're doing over there, and what kind of ecosystem you are setting up for that?
Thank you, Sinergy. I just want to share a couple of things. All the while our endeavor is to give that experiential learning to the student. So we have included 9 such initiatives, but I'll just share 2. One is social immersion program, and second one is global immersion program. So social immersion program entails students as they come into the program. As we are talking, all my 300 students went to 5 different corporate foundations, be it GMR Varalakshmi Foundation or NATCO Foundation or TechM Foundation. And a one-day immersion program was arranged for them to see corporates are not just creating economic value, but also they are pursuing creating social value through their CSR initiatives. And this is Dayatva, wherein they will be working out a project and then presenting it, and that is evaluated, and then top 3 persons are recognized through a small competition. Second one is global immersion program. Thanks to the digital acceleration at even academic institutes, we are able to invite professors from all over the world, be it LSE or University of California, Southern California, across 5 continents. They will be sharing their perspectives to the students as sessions. And once again, this is a 1-month immersion program where the student cohort will have to tie up with foreign students in that respective country. So around 30 groups collaborated with, we call it as foreign buddy. And they will have to appreciate not just the domain, but also their cuisine, culture, the way of life, and they'll be making a video presentation, and that is evaluated by a faculty team, and then once again it's a competition and we recognize the top 3 players. Both the things which I've shared doesn't entail a lot of investment, only the intent, and every institute, whether they are autonomous or affiliated or not being a management institute, can adapt these 2. And we'll be more than happy to share. You can just go to our website and see these 2 initiatives. Very much implementable. Thank you.
Wonderful. In fact, along with QuitC, which is quantum computing, so we ran a hackathon. And the interesting part was we had a student from India, a student from Russia, and a student from USA, all part of one team. and they had submitted a project together, a solution together. So yes, of course, global immersion becomes very important. So now, moving on to you, Karan, because this is an ecosystem and your thing also is using technology. So what would you suggest to institutions? What kind of innovation ecosystem should they have to sustain mentorship?
Okay. A very good question. So, the sustenance of the mentorship is something should be measurable. Right now, whatever all the institute across, in India especially, whatever we are doing, in order to mentor the kids, are we able to gauge or map what kind of a mentorship or, the assistance they've got? So do we have any data that, we do have the data that, these many students were mentored by this particular mentor, the frequency was this, and, for industry, one particular mentor hand-holded about 5 students, 3 students, or 10 students. But what kind of a learning was passed on? What kind of a learning these mentors ingrained into the minds of the students so that they got elevated to the next level? So do we have the mapping over there? That is something we need to, put in the education system so that we can pull out the data, because everything is data driven in this era, right? So in order to understand that what kind of a mentorship particularly the student got, it is something is to be measurable, right? In terms of, jobs and placement is something that will by and large, get to the student if the student has got to that level. Right? So this is something that I would like to put in.
Sure. So let me now shift gears, and typically we say for good music you need musicians, but you also need the Bachs and the Beethovens for writing the good piece of music. And that's where probably I'd like to move to Kartikan Garu with the question on collaboration for skilling as well as research. And what is his take on it?
So recently I visited IIT Chennai, where I've seen drone technology, and even one thing I've read in news about Economic Times and all this about e-plane. We're talking about e-taxi, taxis and all this, correct? Uber, and I think maybe next 2 years, by 27, we are going to see e-taxis, e-plane taxis. So in that way, how we are really advancing. So what we did is now IIT Madras is working with our state government in skilling. We are setting up research institutes in terms of universities where we can drones we can use in agriculture sector, and also even other areas, logistics and all this, and also bringing them e-plane, where students itself, they are working on it. In fact, when I've seen that youngsters, like 19, 20, 21 years children, they are actually working on it. The technology, see how, with the professor, when I met him, Satya, I think he's coming on 29th, 30th. I invited him to Telangana also to display all this. So he's at present he's in Paris, France. So when I saw him, I think I saw one more Abdul Kalam. The way he's actually, working with his children and, giving them guidance. The same thing with the moment I met, then we had an understanding with them. We started working with IIT Madras in terms of research, bringing all this. And yes, research, as once Nelson Mandela said, education is the strongest weapon to change the world. If you want to see the positive change, we need to bring together education and skill development. This is what I want to conclude that here. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Subhashri, let me move to you. RV as a university has been into existence recently. It's a new university. It's a STEAM-based kind of a university, right? Where liberal arts are also being offered along with engineering courses. So what are your initiatives where it is not only skilling, but you want to move it up to research?
Research is an integral part of education. Unless or otherwise a teacher brings research inputs to the classrooms, it will not be enriched. So it's the prime duty of the teacher or the professors to get to understand the subject in depth. It could be through an industry immersion program, or it could be through a case study that he writes. He takes it to the class, discusses it thoroughly, takes the input or the perspectives of the students, and then only writes a paper, number one. Number two, when it comes to research part of it, what is happening in India alone is not sufficient. So we need to collaborate with other institutes within India and abroad and take their inputs also to the table so that whatever we are writing is sustainable and it is worthy a discussion, number 2. Number 3, there are a lot of incentives, there are a lot of other curriculum structures whereby we force or we encourage the students to do a kind of a research. Sometimes I'm very consciously using the word force. Unless or otherwise there is a kind of a push for the students to think. They will not even think. There is a need for us to understand that why am I asking this question? Go to the roots of that particular area in order to say that you are learning something new and that is going to stay with you forever. If you want to relearn, you can do it, but then these concepts are very thoroughly given to you. So research is something that we don't compromise upon. We have our faculty members from IIMs, IITs, ISC, who bring in that rich research culture inside the classroom. I think this is the foundation part of it.
Sure.
It is a long way that we need to go.
Sure. Now moving to NICMAR, because as far as building, construction, etc. is concerned, I think research is happening every day. Every day something new is coming in, technology is changing things. And I also spoke about in the morning how buildings can be 3D printed now. So what kind of research and what are the collaboration that NICMAR has?
Thank you for posing this question because I otherwise would have answered this. Thank you. So we have been completely disrupted. Let me tell you that the field of, we call it as AEC, architecture, engineering or construction, or you can say CRIP, construction, real estate, infrastructure projects. So either of this acronym you can use, but I can tell you that our sector has been completely disrupted in last 4-5 years. With the net zero emission standards are now coming to be implemented. Yes. Then COP27 summit recently that has happened already. Holcim withdrawing its stake from the cement industry and Adani is acquiring it. And so finally 3D printing machines. Now 3D printing machines are experimented for the ground floor only. So we have to go to the elevated structure. So how it can be incorporated, we are doing that. And we are talking about how to reduce the setting times, how to make the things very quickly, because the quickly we do it, we save money on that. So we cannot have the affordability of 21 days of curing, what it was there earlier. So we have to have new materials, we have to have new machines, and we have to have automation and digitization integrated to that. So I request you to come to our campus sometime, and certainly after this I'm going to invite you to our campus. So you will find that we have got individual labs for them. Okay, we have got Microsoft Primavera, we have got the ProChain, we have got Calquen, we have got Candy, we have got every individual labs with us. The students are exposed to them, and which they have not done it in their graduation time. So what sir has told just now, industry experts told just now, that whether there is any kind of cardinal analysis has been made, that what kind of skilling has been made, so that is not made, that's why we have to do that. And when they're coming to our campus, and when the industries who are coming, they're the top 5 B leagues, or you can say all the construction majors, they're coming for the recruitment, they have this kind of expectations. Whether the people are having the idea on the Primavera, they know the MSP, they know the Calquen, they know the ProChain, they know this particular VR and OIR, all these things integrated to construction, probably we are the only one in this particular space. And so it is being evolved day in, day out. And we are having a leader who is from the London, that means our chancellor, who is from the University of West England. And you will be finding that 99% of our faculties are either from any of the central universities or central institutions. So the research focus has been very high on all the faculties. In fact, we have to bring them to the teaching aspects also, because they are so thoroughly immersed with the research. We have to, because executive education is something that we are upskilling. All the company employees, we are doing the skill gap analysis, we are doing the competency mapping of the employees, we are doing so many things in the executive education. So sir, all these inputs, whatever we get from the different enterprises, and whatever incubation centers that we've created with the association of Greenco, or we can say Wellspun, all these things are taken to that particular bottom level. And we want to implement it so that it starts giving us the result. And so this is going to happen for next 4-5 years. the admissions into the BE BTech Civil, as you have told, sir, in the morning, that it was restricted to 5-6%. We are fully aware of that. And that's why we are integrating with all the IT tools that is there. People should not have any kind of belief that the civil engineering is an isolated case. There is no possibility of any kind of IT integration. No, IT integration is being done, and it is being done in a very great way. Please come and see it and believe it. That's what I can tell you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, very interesting discussion. We have had 2 questions, only questions, no suggest conventions, etc. We can talk over lunch, but please, 2 questions, make it brief. To a particular panelist, then please do that.
Thank you very much to all the panel members, Sinhaji and Kartikeya Garu, Abhiram Garu and all. I'm Syed Junaid, Head of Admissions from Roots Collegium. Sir, when we are discussing about skilling and upskilling, and in an era, disruption in the future because of AI and automation, there was a convention held in 2019 in Geneva, where it was in-depth discussed that like how the impact of AI and automation is gonna be on the future job market. It is believed that AI would wipe out almost 370 million jobs in the coming decade. At the same time, it also would create almost about 58 million jobs. Now, my question is to Sinhaji, being the moderator and one of the member who was a part of AVCG task force at the national level. Sir, I have gone through your recommendations your committee has submitted to the government of India, in which section 2, of course, that talks about more the importance of skilling in AVGC sector, right, sir? And it is believed that, your policy says that, of course, your recommendations say that. Point number 3 of section B, you claim that there is almost 20 lakh new jobs would be created in the AVGC sector in next decade. Am I right, sir?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't remember the exact statistics, etc., but yes, there are a
Fine.
huge number of jobs. And the reason why we have actually said that, because I can now understand what is your question.
Fine.
It's those number of jobs that you're talking about and skilling for those jobs.
Of course, sir. I would love to talk more about the gap, right, sir?
Sure. So come to the question, please.
Right, sir.
Thank
20
you.
lakh jobs you're talking about, and at the same time, point number 1 says that the importance of creating curriculum and at the UG and PG level in India, where it's already available. For example, JNFA is one of the university which is offering formal education in AVGC, like animation, visual effects, gaming, and other allied disciplines. So let me tell you one thing, sir. For example, if we take the statistics last year.
Can you come to the question, please?
Yeah. Last year, in JNFAU, under JNFAU, there are only 10 institutions which are affiliated, which are offering animation and visual effects and gaming courses, right, sir? So each institution is having almost 50 seats intake, right? So it makes almost 1,000. So this year, almost 2,95,000 intermediate students have passed out. Let me tell you, last year, the total students who have got into the university is only 293. I'm sorry, it's an unfortunate situation where government speaks a lot on the paper, but when it comes to implementation of the policies, we are
No, you're absolutely right. See, basically, if you look at it, the gap that was there was filled in by arenas and Max, etc. of the world. So that was first thing, right, which is happening.
Sir, that's casual education. I really
No. See, point is when you're looking at the industry, whether it's casual or it is a formal, they are not bothered about it. They look whether you can deliver what you need to deliver or not. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, why do we need to have a student complete his BTech and then realize that I should have gone into gaming instead, right? Point number 2. Point number 3 is, yes, there are institutions such as, GNFAU, etc., and I had sessions over there where I had to tell them what kind of career opportunities exist for these students. No, absolutely, yes.
Nikmar also.
Correct. No, so that's where it is. I think what is important is today, if you look at any kind of a student, he would much rather become an IT service industry professional. And here I'm addressing all the students also, right? What stops you from thinking that you can launch a rocket, right? You can launch a rocket also. Why don't you think on that? Why do you want to end up in the service industry itself? So you have just taken an example of animation, gaming, etc., right? Today, if you look at it, doctors are using AR, VR headsets in case you are suffering from asthma, right? You wear a headset, they will simulate a thing where you are exposed to dust, smoke, etc. You will not be coughing. It's a psychosomatic kind of a condition, you will get cured. So imagine where all this thing is being used. And in case you have students, in fact, one of the questions that I asked at your stall was very simple. When did you start this animation course, etc.? You know why? Today, I have a requirement of more than 1,500 people, I spoke in the morning also, of production, post-production, right, and creative of 1,500 people. You give them to me with 5 to 10 years experience, I will employ them. I'll get them employed right now. So jobs are there. We don't have the right kind of people for it. And that's where it is. And this 293 numbers that you spoke about, it's sad but true. And that is the reason we said, let's try to identify people who are in creative field early itself so that we can guide them and make them, in that direction. Because we want, where the first thing happened, and I don't know, Biren Ghosh, how many of you know in the room, but his claim to fame was the Kawasaki Bajaj ad, where the motorcycle used to change into a cheetah and back, right? If that kind of work could be done in India ages ago, I think we have moved up the ladder many folds. And today we can produce the best. And no means of talking about the movie, but I think the VFX effects that were there in Adipurush, people's expectation have become so high that these kind of visual effects people didn't like at all. So imagine the pressure on your industry and how it is. And probably we'll take this discussion offline. We can discuss a lot. Yes, ma'am. You had a question over there.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Shailaja. Basically, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm coming from an IT field and I've got into creative line now. So my question starts here, like when we see students, when we see students and their journeys, we think, they say, actually I got into medicine, but I was interested somewhere else. So instead of completing completely, why can't we combine in our course line itself, in our study line itself, like US, where we can combine something and probably they can take that line right in the beginning. So in our courses, can we have something of that combination? In our study line itself, like we have basic, we want to get into engineering, you have maths, physics, chemistry. You have something else also to be combined with that. So can we make a little difference there? That is my question.
I would like to answer you. There is an opportunity of late where RV University and many other universities are adopting. One is that a student would focus on the major area of expertise. In the sidelines, there is also an opportunity to do minors. The speciality of NEP 2020 is this. So now you can do an interdisciplinary, a multidisciplinary degree with the proof of work. You can show the industry, look, this is what I have done and I am eligible. You want to become an entrepreneur? Again, there is an opportunity for you because you have already tested the waters. You know what is your strength. You know where to get the money from, where you have to market your product. Everything is known to the students. So there are universities which are doing it because we need to cater to the parents, we need to cater to the industries. There is a lot of expectation that is coming up. The whole gamut of how industries wear is now getting transformed.
Yeah, I think you're right. Mindshare for parents is required. But if you look at Telangana itself, right, in our degree, we have a bucket system. So there is already existing choices where you can combine together. And of course, with these liberal universities that are liberal arts universities, etc., coming up, I think a lot of things will change. And of course, choice-based system has been there. Point is, when will the discussion on the dinner table change, right? In the 8th to 10th, that you should do engineering. You have to go to US, right? Sorry, I don't belong to Telangana, but yes, I'm passionate about the students over here, and that's why I'm here. So I think it's important for that discussion to change over the tables, and that's where it is. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for such a patient listening, and to the entire panel itself. Wonderful comments coming up. I think students, all of you would have benefit also a lot. And like to thank my friend Sudhir for giving us an opportunity to share our view on this very, very key subject. All I would like to say is, when a child is born, and we as parents, and I'm addressing the parents over here, the first thing we do is eat this is good for you, right? When you go to the college or the school, in fact, they say, learn it by rote, there will be a recitation exam. You're forcing them to learn, right? Memorize it. When you come to college, the first thing they say is, this is important from an examination point of view. When he joins the industry, he say, think for yourself. And as Mr. Mishra said in the morning, 20 years we haven't taught him how to think. I think important for us is we have to encourage the culture of thinking and asking questions, which is most important. If we as educators are able to encourage asking questions, who knows tomorrow the next Elon Musk, or even better than him, would be from this country itself. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm highly elated to hear this part of the panel discussion. I mean, here we're talking about the real problem that we deal with, youth understanding and, turning out to be those responsible biggies in the industry. A huge round of applause for our panelists here, everybody. And for giving away the mementos as a token of appreciation, can I call upon our moderator, Sri Shrikant Sinha, to please come forward so that he can give away the moment of appreciation. Can we call upon Professor Abhirama Krishna, Director General, Bhadroka Group of Institution, to please come ahead? Can I hear some applauses, please? Further, can I call upon Dr. K. Sri Harsha Reddy, Director and Professor, Institute of Management Technology, Hyderabad. Can I further call upon Professor Shubhashri Natarajan, Dean School of Business, RV University. Can I call upon Professor Sarvesh Mishra, Dean School of Executive Education, Placements and Industry Relations, NICMAR. Would like to call upon Sri Karun Dubey, Head Business Intercell, Career Mentoring. Further, would like to call upon Sri Kartikeya A, OSD, to Minister of Finance and Skill, Government of Andhra Pradesh. I would like to call upon Sudhir Gautam, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, IndiGlobal Media Network, to give away a token of appreciation to our moderator, Sri Shrikant Sinha, CEO, Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge. I request all the speakers to please come ahead for a group picture.